Out of the latest in the Israel-Hamas war. Israel says it is locked in heated battles inside Gaza with Hamas fighters. All this as civilians try to escape the violence.
And in Israel, crowds gathered at the Western Wall yesterday to call for the release of hostages taken by Hamas.
Our Doug Williams joins us now live from Tel Aviv. Doug, good morning to you stateside.
Brad and Audrina, good morning from Tel Aviv. Again today, all signs pointing to a ceasefire being an impossibility, and we've just received some new information from a senior Israeli official telling us that a ceasefire in their minds would be a victory for Hamas. Israel is, though, ready for a pause if we know for sure that Hamas is ready to release hostages. Again today, we're seeing thousands of Palestinian civilians fleeing south, and at the same time Israeli forces say they're supervising that process while continuing their efforts to take full control of Gaza. Israeli leadership contends it's possible to do both simultaneously with no end in sight for this conflict. Israeli forces say there's now fierce fighting in the heart of Gaza City.
We had a serious battle with a group of Hamas inside the school that they built tunnels in it.
Israel's military released videos of airstrikes on Hamas targets and also of this destroyed amusement park, showing what they claim are tunnels built by Hamas. The violence has driven civilians to the south of the region.
We want to live in our land with a peace.
At the Rafah crossing, aid trucks lined up, while dozens more injured civilians and foreign nationals, including Americans, were allowed to flee from southern Gaza into Egypt.
All of us want to end this conflict as soon as possible, and meanwhile, to minimize civilian suffering.
Yesterday, President Biden told reporters he has formally asked Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu for a humanitarian pause in fighting.
I did ask him for a pause in the past.
Though Netanyahu has repeatedly rebuffed international calls for a general ceasefire until the hostages are released. Tuesday night here at the Western Wall in Jerusalem, hundreds of Israelis gathered together in prayer, marking 1 month of the conflict. Hamas took more than 240 hostages in their deadly raids that also killed hundreds of Israelis. So just a reminder, Brad and Audrina, I said earlier that senior Israeli official was saying that Israel is ready for a pause if Hamas is serious about releasing hostages. Well, President Biden is said to believe that an agreement on a pause for just a matter of days could result in the release of some of the Israelis still being held hostage by Hamas. And as the day goes on and into the evening here in Tel Aviv, we are expecting to at some point learn a little bit more on about where the thousands we're seeing flee Gaza are going in their continued search for safety. Brad and Audrina.
Doug Williams, to you and the crew on the ground there, we thank you for your reporting.